Hello.
Hello. What were we going to start with? Carol, what's her name?
Hold on. Pause. Break.
Why can't I remember her last name? The
Carol.
Tiger King. Baskins. Carol
Yeah,
Baskins.
this is all fucking Carol Baskin.
I think Carol Baskin's behind COVID-19.
That bitch Carol Baskin.
Anyway.
Tiger King, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's one of the most fascinating things.
Scarier than what we're doing now.
Speaking of Carol Baskin.
We're fired up today. I'm fired up.
You're fired up. You are
Maybe you're not.
fired
I'm fired
up.
up. I did
What did
I
you
feel
do?
like the shower today was colder than normal.
Okay, so you've been doing cold plunges, cold showers
So
for how long?
I do
About
agree
a week?
that no, this is
2 weeks?
a week and a half. I started Sunday a week ago.
Okay.
I do like the cold tub in terms of I feel like it's more peaceful and sort of
Yeah.
but it's also not as efficient and it's not as good for water usage. So we're working on making
Not as good for water usage, translating to complete waste of water.
Yeah, so we're working on making a plunge. So I'm not doing the plunge things as often. The shower though is
But the shower is a good place for people to start.
yeah,
Meaning,
I feel like it's more but that's what I'm saying is I feel like it's not as it's a little bit like anxiety producing, whereas the plunge, once you get in, you can kind of like breathe and be calm. The shower is just constant, like you're like constantly plunging like that first second. But anyway, I did that, coached, did a workout, coached, and now we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I guess for the last few days, I guess I've been a little, I don't know if I'm just more sensitized or if there's certain things that are just starting to piss me off.
There we go.
But I felt like today, and I'll say it, you and I spend a lot of time being very careful. We don't want to say this. We don't want to say that. I don't want to sound like this. I don't want it to seem like that. But then I think, why? Why are we not just saying what we think? And people, the reality is, there are people that don't like us.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what we say because they're still not going to like us. No matter what we say, those people are still going to find something to say like, oh, what a bunch of assholes.
Why don't you say what you think more?
Yeah, and for me, like as I've been very vocal about and I just posted about the other day, like I spend a lot of time worrying about what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
What's that judgment going to be? But my point is, and this is a stupid example, and I got off of the affiliate group because I was trying to be helpful. The irony there is being super careful about how I'm crafting my words and what my intent is, and there's still judgment. So it's
you were in a Facebook group with worldwide CrossFit gym owners.
Yep.
That were talking about obviously recent
Yeah,
events.
everybody's talking about what they're doing, how they're doing it.
Yeah.
My point is, even when you try to be careful about how you're saying it or whatever, my realization is people are still going to judge.
Yeah.
They're still going to think whatever. So then I think all we're doing is not actually getting our message across to people that do want to hear it, that do need it, because we're just muting everything or dampening it or adjusting it. So today I kind of said like, hey, I think we should be honest. And if people think, hey, they're a bunch of assholes, then okay. Like the people though that are going to hear it and find value, that's who we're speaking to. So, and this isn't the made up like paranoid, like, oh, they think that people don't like them. No, we know that people don't like us. Like,
for a fact.
It is very clear, and that's fine. And honestly, I respect more if someone would just say like, hey, I disagree with you. And,
but no one's gonna.
But people don't do that. It's these weird backhanded things. So that's kind of like just saying that today to say like it might be some harsher things, then like I'm not as concerned with like crafting things to make sure that doesn't offend anybody. Like, no, kind of fuck that. That's not happening today.
Now we're talking. I'll call him friend, new friend, James Victore, who's the Tony Robbins of creative like teaching. He's an artist. He's a designer. He says shocking things. Often that's sort of his shtick, but he says authentic things. He called me up a couple months ago. I think I've talked about it on here, and he was like, I sense the trepidation.
And this is the only person that said this to you.
And he's not the only person. And this is a dude that puts his work out and has been putting his work out for decades.
Yeah.
He's been designing things. He got famous for designing a poster. There was some celebration of some Native American thing. He was like maybe 19 at the time. And he had this picture of like this very traditional Native American with the headdress and everything, and he basically like graffitied it, X'd out the eyes, and kind of said like celebrating, you know, killing innocent people or whatever. Right. And like so some of his things are very charged, very polarizing. And he had said months ago, like, stop being so fucking humble. Actually, we were driving together to the Do lectures from London, and he was talking a little bit about that with his own thing and some of his clients. Which
is a scary thing to do, but
yeah, it's a scary thing. And so all that to say, I feel like I pull punches, and I don't like feeling like that personally, because it's a bit of a lie. Like, it's a bit of living a lie, you know. And when you are passionate about something, when you temper that, it does more damage to you than it does to anyone else.
Yeah.
The people who are not going to like what we or I or you have to say,
they're not spending a lot of time thinking about it.
They're not gonna care. The people who are like, dude, hit me with some truth. Okay, tell me what the deal is. Bill, fucking send it. Those people aren't getting as powerful or authentic or as real of a message. Yeah. And me personally, I feel like I build up resentment. It's fucking tiring to always feel like, well, I don't want to do this. And it's like,
the resentment's big because it is against this not imaginary, but this just big, you know, blank face kind of group. So
all that to say, we both struggle.
Yeah, but we are gonna take a step into not doing that today and not having as much trepidation.
Yeah, so buckle the fuck up, basically, is what we're saying. We had I'll just, and maybe I'll start with just something, because we had a celebrity guest, 2 celebrity guests, coach one of our classes.
Yeah.
And it was crap. And these people have millions of followers. And it wasn't coaching, right?
Well, the problem was, here's the issue. That's not really the issue.
Okay.
The issue is, and I think this is an interesting thing because it ties into a lot of what we've been talking about. We talked about this a couple of podcasts ago about capitalizing, or opportunists. Like, you've spent all this time worrying about being an opportunist with Between the Ears.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's fascinating about that. Currently, Between the Ears, and sure, if there was another thing like Between the Ears, maybe there is out there, that would be wonderful. To date, I have never seen anything like Between the Ears. And yes, of course, no, you know, I'm your wife. Okay. But at this point, with what people are dealing with, just the fact of not even the fear of the virus and all that stuff, but just being in their homes, no distractions, with themselves, that is almost like a necessity to be keeping up with a physical and mental practice, because we're seeing after 2 weeks people coming unglued.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny about that is something that's very needed today. Yet you still feel badly or like, I don't want to seem opportunistic, like I'm capitalizing.
It kills me.
But it's something that's like very needed and could help people.
Yeah.
So we take a look at yesterday. We've had multiple people come on who've been amazing. We had Noah Olson, Kari Pierce, Chris Hinshaw. They came on and they served our community truly with their presence. We're about doing something out of service.
Yes.
Now, all of those people, we promoted their things out of like, thank you for doing that. No, none of them, though, were like pushing their things.
No.
We had now yesterday these other 2, which I had asked the same of them, a private coaching session for our community. We did not know at all until the thing started that this was not going to be for our community. This was going to be for live streamed and this and that for 2 other gyms and all this stuff. Now, that might initially sound like selfish, but I don't have a problem with that. But the fact that that was never communicated and we weren't given the option to say, like, if it had been said to us, listen, we can't really do a private thing. This is what we can offer. Would you like that?
100%.
Then I get that.
Yep.
But you don't show up saying you're going to serve a community. Now, that's the thing. It wasn't about serving us.
No.
It was about how they could build their platform. And again, I'm not faulting someone for doing that, but that's just lying. That's very low in the integrity.
It does feel
spectrum.
like the integrity and the intention is not aligned, and that's
right. So the fact is that this became.
So that kind of pushed the ball down the hill.
That pushed me definitely over the edge in terms of what the F. Here are people who, and I guess I believe that people who are in a leadership position, people who are celebrities, and this is the difference, should have a responsibility to be leaders at this time, to serve. And I think there are tons of people, let's just call it in the CrossFit space or whatever, who are doing that. We had Brian McKenzie came on and talked about breath work, StrongFit, they're putting stuff out. But when you turn something into just pure opportunistic stuff, and then you don't even produce a good quality product, and that was the problem. So because of thousands of people being on, our feed, our Zoom call, we lost these people several times. Now, irrelevant of what the coaching quality was, it was not service to our members. And then it ended up being that we just took over. What's fascinating is I messaged this person and said, hey, we lost you guys. And it was like, oh, you can hop on our live feed. And I'm like, well, that's not going to help our classes. So you and I jumped in. We coached the rest of the class. And we never heard from them again. It wasn't like, hey, sorry, we lost you. I feel really bad.
So why does this... So and
that's not what this entire podcast is about, but that's an example of some of the bullshit that's happening currently.
Right. Well, it's the steal for attention. And that's the thing. And so service is not about the attention that you get from it, right? So it's like, hey...
or service is not about doing either the easy thing. What's easy? What's easy is just... What would be easy is if we just said, hey, guys, we're going to work out every day in our garage at 10. We'll put the live feed on. You guys are welcome to join. Yeah. We'll put up workouts.
Yeah.
That's
and so somebody
easy.
So it was Bruce actually who asked on the last Between the Ears call, like, I forget the exact question, but the essence of it was, how did you guys basically make the change so fast
to go online
before fucking anyone said to? Mm-hmm. And we'll say it, all the local gyms followed our lead yet again. And you know what? You don't like how that sounds? Show me the fucking details of that being different. Okay. And so... And
I will say, we followed other people.
Yes.
And we personally reached out to those people and said, hey, thank you for being a leader.
Yes.
I messaged both of those people, a yoga studio and CrossFit New England, and said, thank you for leading.
Yes.
That helped us.
Yes. Exactly.
I have yet to receive a message from any affiliate because why would you? Why would you send out a thing? Hey, thanks for... I sent a number of messages to people saying, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yes. Because it's a constant... This is the thing, in my opinion. It's a constant... The CrossFit affiliate space, especially locally, the soil upon which it is built is insecurity. Mm-hmm. And that is a pathetic place. That is, in my world, my former world, that is a fucking dangerous place. When you are insecure and that drives actions to keep up, like, you are going to lose. It is a losing battle when you operate from insecurity and needing to feel like you're keeping up. However, when you're operating from authenticity, ironically enough, because it's something that sometimes... not being fully authentic, not by trying to be inauthentic, but not by being fully authentic is what we struggle with, I struggle with. And vulnerability. When you operate from there, now you have plenty of good soil to plant with. And so that's definitely upsetting a little bit.
And I guess it's just like, even in saying this, there's part of me that's thinking, oh shit, I hope, like, to be totally honest, God, I hope people don't think like, wow, they're such assholes or they're whatever. And then I think, like, why does it matter? Like, we have, the frustration is, yes, taking the time to email someone. I got a message from someone, not even in this state. Can you help with this affiliate? Sure. Send them an email. I never even got a response back. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with people? And I'm sorry, but like, we're fucking busy. So don't tell me it's because you're busy. I get it. We're all busy. Yeah. You and I are doing everything. And that's not a knock on, that's by choice. That's because we feel like that's the right thing. And we have people that are, you know, certainly our head coach and our admin and our other coaches who are doing kids classes, like, people, it's not because they're not stepping up and asking. No,
it's also because it's what we owe it. Right. That's our job as well in this particular situation.
So I think some of the things that translates into, this is all sort of backstory to the point of today, is as it relates to a number of things, whether it's you at home, like as just a human, if it's affiliate owners, small business, if you are putting your head in the sand and just riding it out, like, all right, how many more days? It's going to be just probably one more week or one more month. Like, number one, first and foremost, you are doing yourself a massive disservice for your mental health, for your business's health. Mm-hmm. Like, that shit is not a good trajectory.
Right.
And so it's like, okay. And two, as we've talked about in other podcasts, like we talked about this last week, perspective, like, you're missing a whole freaking opportunity. You know, this morning I was biking and I was thinking, like, what's funny about this situation is if this was in like a normal scenario, okay, like normal world, irrelevant of COVID-19, and someone was like, hey, this is a $2 million like experiment thing. We're selecting very few people. We're going to, like, give it to you for free, and you're going to go and be isolated for a month, and and you're going to work on mindset. People will be like, oh man, that would be so awesome. What a great opportunity. Man, can you imagine? Or if someone who had a lot of money could afford to go and like do that, like maybe it costs a lot of money, people would be like hating on them. Like, oh, well, I guess if you had a lot of money, you could go do that, and then you could work on yourself and read and do all that stuff. But I have life. You're in it.
Right.
You are in that fucking experiment. Now, I get it. There's challenges with jobs and things.
Good.
But like, this is all one big fucking experiment. And if you're just going to like look the other way and pretend it's not there, you're missing it. You're missing all of it.
I mean, the part of me wants to also say, like, if we're all walking down the beach and you're sticking your head in the sand, part of me wants to say, get the fuck out of my way. If you want to do that, that's fine, but get out of the way. But then that would insinuate that you actually had the awareness that you're in someone else's way. And that's my problem with a lot of this like, just close your eyes, it'll all be fine. Oh, it's another 2 days, another 2 weeks. Oh, when's it gonna be? That was like the essence of my post. Like, do not complain. Like, I will not complain. Yeah. I can be pissed off. And let's be clear. This is not complaining. This is acknowledging what is some atmospherics, but also saying this is what we will do about it.
Right. What are we going to choose to do? Complaining is just meaning,
I just say home. So anyway, so we were asked, basically, what drove you guys to do what you did as fast as you did and as good as you did? And I said, obviously I couldn't speak for you, but it was only me on the call. But I said, like, yes, because we are driven to lead, to provide value, and to serve. And those elements don't always come with comfort, convenience, certainly not likability. There's a higher level of risk. Everybody is going to do whatever it is as soon as the first person did. It's like the Roger Bannister effect. It's like everyone, of course, like, oh yeah, now I can run a sub 4 minute mile. It's like, yeah, but guess what? Like, you didn't at first.
And in every community there are, and it's okay, not everybody can be the first person. Not everybody can be the leader. So it's not a scoff on people that like aren't in that position.
Right.
But that is the position we have taken.
Right. And so that's from a business standpoint. From an individual standpoint, you better fucking look at how you are leading yourself during this. Because even though it's just about you, you influence other people.
Yeah.
And that is a major thing here. One of the problems, not one of the problems, one of my concerns is that I often will say, like, look, you can hold your breath for, like, if we look at like these little challenges, right? These stupid 30-day challenges that don't actually do anything or create
Anybody
any change.
Can do something for 30
you can
days
hold your breath,
and then go
okay?
back. Yeah.
Now I get it. The whole point of, oh, well, maybe it raises your awareness and your attention to doing something, and you get in the groove. Yep, check. I got that. This is not that, right? We are getting to a point where if you hold your breath, everybody's done this as a kid. You always used to do this in the pool. How long can you hold your breath for? You get to that point where there's that signal in your body, the buildup of, I guess, CO2. And it's like, oh, fuck, I can't breathe. That's where we are right now. We're not at the beginning where it's like, look at me, I'm underwater and I'm holding my breath. And,
it's not.
And it's like, oh, okay,
temporary.
yeah. Now it's like, now it's like there's a signal within you and it's like, oh, shit, this is real.
Right.
Unlike a pool, you get to control, or in a pool, you get to control, or when you're on your couch, you get to control when you breathe. Mm-hmm. That's not the environment that we are in right now. You don't get to control that.
Sure, you don't get to control what's happening.
You don't get to control when this thing ends.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. There are things you do have control over.
There are things you do have control over. Okay. And so that is where that has always been my concern with this thing. Because unlike most people, and again, this isn't to elevate myself, it's to show, it's just to say that unlike most people, I have spent quite a bit of time in isolation. Mm-hmm. I have spent like significant stress, one, by being confined, like in that type of thing, where sure, I mean, there was a time where it was half of a day locked in a small box with absurd things being played, crying babies and torture and all of that stuff. There's also been long periods under stress of complete silence and time with yourself. What I know, and I've seen it both on the success side and the failure side of people that are unable to be with themselves. We are grossly unprepared for that in our society today. The phone, distraction. Netflix, distraction. The gym, for a lot of folks, distraction. Insert every other thing, right? So there's a disruption to that. What we're also learning is that the gym is, the value of the gym is not people's development of physical fitness. Mm-hmm. The value of the gym is the human connection. Right. The value of the gym is that stuff that extends far beyond, are you improving as an athlete? It doesn't matter. That is no longer what we're concerned with right now.
Sure. I do think some of the value of the gym, though, is that interactive piece, like, and the normalcy of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I guess for some people, if your gym doesn't do a good job of coaching, or whatever your coaching level is at your gym, whatever's happening online, as long as it's the same thing that was happening in the gym, at least there's a little bit of that normalcy. Right. So keeping it the same.
So yes. Now here's the thing. That's 1 hour. Mm-hmm. So you've got a little bit of a sip of air with that 1 hour. That cannot make up for the rest of the day, the rest of the environment. One of the things that fires you up is that it's kind of like, our people love us. Not you. This isn't you. This is a general affiliate thing.
Yeah, people.
This is like, our people love us. People support us. They're so happy to, have whatever. And that's
someone
just what
actually put up, I'm not going to stress myself right now trying to try to coach them online. They love us. They support us. They're just happy to connect right now. And my issue is with people in a leadership role. And I'm sorry, if you are an affiliate owner, if you are a business owner, you are in a leadership role. Like, if you don't think that, I'm sorry, your business probably sucks. Leaders currently need to step up. They need to serve.
But being in a leadership role and being a leader.
Of course. Yes.
Major difference.
So how are you serving your people? And yes, the day that I said like, yeah, you know what, I don't really want to stress about it, I cannot even imagine those words coming out of my mouth. Now, what's interesting about that is, just like everybody else, and to your point, I need to be with myself and figure out, like, not letting that service to others or the work I'm doing be a distraction either. Like I have my own, everybody's in their own unique situation, whether it's that have a corporate job and you have little kids at home and, you know, we're coaching more classes, like whatever that is. But like, this isn't the time to say, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm just going to sit back and like take a back seat.
I don't understand how anyone in a coaching capacity, be it CrossFit or whatever other kind of coaching, would essentially say, I'm not going to stress right now because basically what the changes I have to make given the universal application of what's happening from this pandemic, like, no shit, they didn't sign up for that.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, people didn't sign up for at-home virtual fitness.
Right.
But like, that is just the level of laziness that is
but angering. People also, as we know, want to look at that, and this was my issue with that group, and say, oh good, other people are being lazy too. That and that's the influence. Now, you know, someone else is looking at and there were plenty of people on there who were saying like, this is what we're doing. Anybody have thoughts? Like, I want to be better. Yeah. But at this point, I guess that's kind of our thing that I'm not sure. And there's plenty of people we've run into, you know, even in the neighborhood on walks, like, yeah, I'm ready for this to be over with. Okay. Thank you for stating the obvious. Like, now part of it is, of course, I would like this to be over, because every day that goes by and knowing the medical staff and seeing all these videos, like, it is a horrible thing that is happening. There's people in the hospital right now. Yeah. And even the implications of that with people that are not sick related to this, like people who are pregnant who now, what's that like, delivering a baby? Yeah. Sick kids who their parents can't come see them in the hospital. Right. Like, there's all these things that are not good right now.
I'll be honest.
Of course we want it to be over.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't want this to be over for me. Well, I could care less. I could go on like this probably forever.
Right. It's about the other people that
It's about the other people. Yes. It's about the people who are, and that's the whole thing. It's about the people who are actually experiencing the danger.
Yes.
Not the inconvenience. Now, there's this in between of people who are, let's say, they lost their job, right?
Right.
That's a tough one. Like, that's a hardship now. That goes into that. Like, I want this to be over for them so that they can get back to work. Right. All right. And if you didn't lose your job, if your stress level is just higher, and that's really the only thing that changed, you didn't lose your job, you still have your health, you as the individual, right? Now what? You have to deal with your kids more, or you have to see your husband more, or your wife more, or
and
whatever.
And we're in that camp.
Yeah, that's we're in that camp. Yeah. We are not affected by this. Right. Now, there's an effect, obviously, but we're not being victimized.
Right.
We are not at risk of...
So that group, our group, where we're in, and I think, like, to be honest, like, and transparent, like, I am working on and trying to be very aware of, like, you know, okay, I am healthy. We do have an opportunity to still run our business. Sure, there have been some implications in that, and it is scary to think of what could happen. However, today, what I can do, I have a brain and I have the ability, I have an outlet, I have a platform, and I can continue to work. So the stress that we experience, which, to be honest, my stress is thinking about, like, the other things, the other people that are suffering, what's going to happen. But there are ways to manage that. It's a lot easier to manage that. There are tools for that stress relief and how we learn about ourselves. That's our point. There's not the same tools for if you lost your job right now. If you lost your job, not a lot that you can like, now you can now put yourself in that opportunity of like, okay, how do I still deal with this? Because you have to go on every day.
Right.
But I guess what I'm saying is most of us are in the camp of things have changed. There is an element of stress, but it's stuff that we can manage and we can learn and use it as an opportunity. And a lot of people are not doing that. We've received a couple of emails or, which is, and people I think say like, don't feel the need to respond. And we respond, of course, saying like, it is incredible to hear people, trying to focus on their growth as an individual during this time and see it as an opportunity and looking at that space. But
yeah, and this is kind of getting back to not pulling punches. There's people, to include ourselves, who are, look, I think there's actually a beauty to what's happening worldwide right now. And by that, I mean at the human connection level, in that I don't know when the last time that the world was this united about a particular thing. Now, obviously, it would be better if it was about like treating people with respect and dignity. Yeah, sure. That would be nice, but that's not the case. I mean, around the world, there is a shared experience of this thing. There's a beauty in that like we are all sort of connected in this way. And of course it sucks and no one would want it. But that is the reality. And so, okay. So if you are inconvenienced, if there is higher stress because of the conditions that you have to operate within, got it. Understood. If you have your health, if you have other people that you can talk to and connect to, even if not in person, but remotely, if you basically are being told, hey, the best thing you can do right now is stay home, then stop your fucking crying and step the fuck up and do something for yourself and for other people. Find a nurse and figure out how to help them. Yeah. Find a doctor and figure out how to support them. So do something for yourself so that you can emerge from this better, because you're not the one really sitting on your goddamn couch that's going to get us through this.
Right.
It's not you. You can at best, like, you are a supporting element of this right now. You are not the main effort. The doctors, the nurses, everybody, right, doing all that stuff. The people that are on the front lines, like, you owe it to them to do something and to be better from this, because right now they are surviving. They are wondering how they just don't want to get this thing. Say what you will about the medical stuff of like, well, does it kill? Does it not kill? Like, it doesn't matter. They are the ones who have to put 4 different layers of protective gear on before they go ask somebody, take someone's temperature. I mean, that's insane. Right? So they are the ones surviving. You, I'm pointing at you and me as well, are not the ones surviving. And we have an opportunity to thrive. And that's not being an opportunist. That is serving the people who don't have that now. Because you know what? When we get out of this thing, they're going to need that. They're going to need an opportunity to rebuild.
I want to believe, and I think a lot of people are saying like, oh, this is going to change the world. And I don't want to be a pessimist, but if you're not doing anything to grow, it's just going to snap right back to how you were. So in order for us to come out of this and having it been, I don't want to say worth it, but having learned something from it, like in every negative thing or every tragedy, like, God, if there's nothing you learn from it, then what a true tragedy it was. So that goes on many levels. That could be, and we talked about this last week, learning something. It could be something simple like, wow, you never cooked for your family and now you do. Okay. It could be that. It could be learning what it is to support someone, as you're saying. It could be learning about yourself. It could be coming out of this and saying, wow, those 3 months, I learned a lot about myself. But by nature of putting your head in the sand, by nature of just counting the days and just hoping it's only a week, that's that temporary state where you're going to look back and be like, wait, man, like every day I thought that was just it. So I didn't really do the work.
Right.
If you picture like, okay, this could very well be 2 months. And I said this last time, I disagreed on a call with another affiliate owner. I said like, yeah, we're planning for June. Mm-hmm. And I think that's even like an optimistic thing.
Yeah.
And it was, kind of met with like, well, I'm just planning on 2 weeks. It's like, well, if I look at between now and June, man, there's so much I can learn. Wow, I have 3 months to like, I can do this, I can do that, I can really sink my teeth in. If someone were to say like, well, we just have till Friday.
Yeah. You're back
then I'm like,
breath.
you know what? Like, all right, cool. I can just make it to Friday and I'll hold my breath.
Right.
So why wouldn't you look at the long game? What can I do? What could I build for myself, for my community, for somebody else, for my work if I'm given 3 months? So yes, to the affiliate owners or business owners that are just going day by day, and I'm sorry, like, people of course love you, but is that the right call? Like, I would never like take advantage of that people love each other in the community and that I'm just going to capitalize on that and know that they'll still pay us.
No,
I'm not.
That's bullshit.
You're paying for, you can all get in a Zoom call and do a workout together and you don't need me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to provide a service, I'm going to learn how to provide the best service I can. Like, I'm building a new business. I have 3 months to build an incredible online business every day. And I spoke to another, a yoga studio owner who has, who I really respect. And same thing. She said, today I'm looking at like, how am I doing the best job I can right now today and providing some time so I can be creative about what other solutions I can provide for this. It's a brand new business.
Yeah. What was I going to say? You said something about, just the end game or what you can do in 3 months and
not going back to just how we were, learning something from it.
Yeah. So when the part that really fires me up is because...
Oh boy, you're not fired up yet.
Oh man. Hell. And this is, again, personal, but I don't think it's over the top because it's not. What bothers me when I have bad days is that friends of mine, family members, friends of family members and stuff who are no longer here don't get to have bad days.
Yeah.
And that drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And so right now, for those who are going to pull through this, you owe it to them. You owe it to them, the nurses, the doctors, the garbage workers, the shop, like everybody out there that, again, isn't just like, hey man, best thing you can do is sit on your ass. You owe it to them to take advantage of this opportunity for you to get better as a human being.
Yeah,
because again,
of course,
like they will. Here's what I suspect too. The strong ones, they're going to come out of this and be like, you know what? That was awful. That was terrible. I would never wish it upon anyone. I learned so much about myself. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so who that is, because that is who they are.
Sure.
You have an opportunity right now to learn about yourself in a way that without literally a global pandemic, you would not voluntarily do.
Yeah. It's a experiment.
Look for resources, look for tools. And yes, I will say it, between the ears and the practice and all the stuff that I do with between the ears will provide a roadmap and a guidance and coaching and interaction and all of that for it. So take that for whatever it's worth. If you want to use the opportunity that you're in it regardless, then we're open.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. You know,
and I'm sorry, but I think that has like, and why feeling like that bothers me to feel bad about, you know, promoting that or saying like, here's a tool. There are so many people selling their shit right now. And yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with selling whatever you're selling, an ab program or whatever. But I will say at this point, selling work on how to not lose your fucking mind is probably going to trump abs right now.
Yeah, and it's not
somebody,
only,
you know, and it's,
yeah, and it's like, and it's not just like, hey, don't lose your mind. It's find your fucking self. It's find your mind.
Yeah.
It's you know, and
I just mean from people's perspective, people are struggling with like, I'm losing my mind.
Well, and I get it. Like, so I discounted 50% to practice, which is, there's nothing like it. There's literally nothing like it out there. And, you know, but again, you have to actually do it. Discount it by 50%, which I'm not like, it's not like I make, like, that's not a good, you know, like I'm not retiring anytime soon. And I get the thing, it's just a crazy time right now. It's just, there's just so much unknown. It's like,
well,
that's
and
the
I'm going to say this
point.
And I'm going to, this is, since we're just, why not just say it all?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh boy.
People have commented all over the place about, God, at least the liquor store's open. Now, I get it. A liquor store is also a business. So I'm not suggesting don't support businesses. I understand that.
Yeah.
But
okay,
you're spending money on alcohol.
Right.
I am sure people's budgets exceed what the practice is per month on alcohol.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but I'm just saying it's what we're choosing. And that's just an example.
Right.
Okay. I'm not criticizing alcohol consumption. I'm not judging that. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, yes, I understand a couple $100, whatever. And if you lost your job, like, understood. Like, this isn't a blanket statement. But for most people right now, it's the choice of what you're investing in.
Well, it's a cup of coffee a day.
It's what you're investing in. Yeah. And for a lot of people, they lost their Starbucks. So awesome. Take that. And so, but my point is, like, it's, for a lot of people, it's about what you're going to choose to use that for and what you're going to do with it. I think what's funny, and I was thinking for us, I mean, you know, we don't go out we don't get out that much. Uh-huh. I'm sure some of that recreational spending for people is down, whether it's by way of a vacation, a weekend trip, going out to restaurants. So maybe that is something you say, like, okay, normally we spend this on recreation. I'm going to take a part of that and spend it on myself.
Yeah. So that's yeah, of course. And I think,
but the fear of, I don't know, like, and that's the thing, is that in that it's like a cycle. It's like, well, you're afraid of investing in that because you don't know what's going to happen. But if you invested in it, it would probably help you prepare for what's going to happen, whatever is going to happen. Like, so a lot of people probably that have done people have told you that did the practice, that prepared them for this.
Yes. The people that are in it, so I have a group that's entering the final week. Mm-hmm. And we had a call and, you know, been in contact with them, obviously. And I kind of said, like, look, obviously I don't want this thing to happen. Yeah. But this happened at the perfect time. You've done 2 months of work now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is game day.
Not this happened at the perfect time, but for
the
you,
timing of this for the timing
for
of
you.
this for
yes.
them is the timing that this thing really kicked off. Now there's somebody in China, believe it or not,
one of your people
still doing it.
Yeah.
They were ahead of it, and she's crushing it, doing so, like, and not like from doing workouts and like as a human being and learning about herself and feeling these differences. By the timing element, I mean that you've done a lot of training, you've done a lot of work, you've gotten into the practice, you've gotten into the groove. Ideally, anybody listening that hasn't done it, you should. It would have been great if you signed up 2 months ago, but you didn't, and that's okay.
Sign up now.
You can sign up now.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things is that it's like the game day. Mm-hmm. So by saying, like, I'm not ready, it's like then you're telling me you're not ready for life,
right?
And that I don't understand. I think I'm empathetic
And it's not to say
I don't understand that.
Right. It's not to say that it's so I started 2.0. I've done the regular practice twice. Started the second iteration, and it was kind of interesting because I think when I said it to you, like, that I'm doing it, I was really excited to have that for myself at this time, like, to get to have that tool.
Right.
And I've done a lot of work, and I'm nowhere near done. I mean, like, no one is. But, and so for me, that 1 week, just to speak to it a little bit, like, I mean, I could spend another month on week 1.
Yeah.
But like what I learned, and one of the tools that came up, and, you know, I don't want to get into details because I do think it's valuable for people to have their own experience with it. But like, man, that tool alone, like, I used it yesterday. I got really frustrated yesterday when that whole thing happened with the disaster guest coaching. And I realized very quickly, like, okay, I'm seeing this very clearly, where I am, where do I need to go, what's going to help me get me there. I mean, Jesus, like.
But you had that framework, that coaching, that tool.
Yeah.
And you, and this is the thing too. And obviously you're my wife, but like, and I actually, once you finished the workout, I was like, so you can tell me about it? And you were like, can I just do this as a, like, treat me like a regular client? Right. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I respect that. I presented to you the tool and the concept. But if you don't take it and do the work and make it yours, or if you just try to say, hey, what did he say again? No. Make it yours. Yeah. That's the thing. Everybody doing this makes it theirs. Right. It's not about reciting. It's not about thinking about it. It's like, it's about doing this stuff, finding the trueness of it within yourself, how these things apply. Yes, I'm very, very good at what I do. I will fucking say it. I'm very good at what I do. And I can help you. But I can't help you if you don't help yourself. Yeah. And so if you help yourself, then you get to step into the thing. Yeah. The other thing, moving forward, is stop looking back. Enough with saying, I just wanted to go back to the way it was. It's fucking not.
Right.
It's not going to. And guess what? It never will. Whoever thought of that one, I don't understand. Why are we saying that? It's not going to go back.
Yeah. Well, and that's that same, like, kind of wasted energy, just like complaining. Like, it's
I just wanted to go back to the way it was. Yeah, I get it. But you know what? Like, but the other thing is, pay attention to what you're saying.
Right.
Because your language, and this is why in the when I have my mindset lecture at the seminar, like, the mode of self-communication, language, it matters. Yeah. Don't just take it for granted. Don't just throw it away.
Right.
It matters what you're saying, how you're behaving, your facial features, your body posture, the tone of the voice, the words you use. Words have meanings. Meanings are important. So this whole thing, like, I just want to go back the way it was. Yeah, and I wish it was sunny and 75 degrees every day, but I live in New Jersey, and so it's not going to happen. And so looking forward, instead of saying, I want to go back, no.
What do you want to go forward? And
how are you going to propel forward?
Yeah. And that's, and yes, it would be, you know, and we all need tools for that. So I think, you know, the message there is there are tools for people. I applaud people that are getting online, moving their tables out of the way, doing their workouts.
Literally making room.
Yeah. And like someone said that yesterday, like it's impressive to see people literally making room for this in their life.
Yeah. Yes.
And not just having it be checking a box. Yeah. One of our members said that. And that is awesome. Like, having that accountability and that time with yourself. The next step would be beyond just the workout. And what's something interesting you said was people are a little more hyper aware. Like, people are saying that they're getting more coaching now because, like, my awareness, I'm fixed on the screen with people. I can just move very quickly through people because they're right there in front of my face to be able to cue them. Yeah. But you said also that people are a little bit more aware and tuned in. They might have music on in the background, but in order to hear me, I think most people don't. And so you are feeling like you're breathing. You're hearing yourself breathing. You're in your own space.
Right.
So our thing is, like, the message I think today is, like, do not piss away this opportunity.
No.
And stop treating it like, now I think there's value to looking at each day as like, today's a new opportunity. I don't think there's anything wrong with just like in a long workout, like, okay, I'm going to focus on these 5 quality reps. And then I'm going to focus on this next 5 quality reps. I think it's fine to look at smaller chunks in terms of how you approach things, but understanding that it's part of a bigger, longer thing. And what do you want to do with that longer time chunk that you've been given? And so, yes, things like working on your mindset between the years, using a tool, finding a tool. If you're a business owner, Jesus, like, you should look back in 3 months and have built something, have done something, have provided something, not just maintained.
You shouldn't, though, but that's the thing. You're saying you should do that, and I disagree. I think the opportunity is there. Now, of course, I'm kind of deviating from when the shame and the could kind of combination to make should. You don't have to.
No, of course. What I'm saying is this is our personal opinion. This is
right.
Not
but I'm saying, but you're saying you as an affiliate owner, you as a gym owner, you as a business owner, you should learn from this. And it's like, why? Why should they? They should, like, that's on them. There's no over.
But that's what we're saying the whole time. Anybody listening, why should they?
It's just because you said they should, and I'm saying, like, that's the difference, though. That's your, like.
Yes, I think my personal belief is it would be a shame if you didn't learn, grow, take this opportunity.
And
that's it.
That is why, though, quality rises.
Well,
honestly, that's the thing. It's like, hey, you have time on your hands. What does X, Y, Z?
Quality rises, but not that this is a tangent, but I mean, hey, Between the Ears doesn't have 1 million followers. Guess who does? The person yesterday who guest coached, who provided not really much service. So
yes,
that's a whole other discussion. Yeah. But for the people that we are serving,
right,
I will speak for myself. I would like to look back.
Yes.
In 3 months, in 4 months, whenever.
Yes.
And say, wow, I learned about myself. I provided service and continued. Like, it's not just like, cool, done. All right, we're just going to roll this out for the next 4 months. Like, continued to try to provide and grow.
So how does it start? How do you start that then?
Right. Well, first you start and say, like, I'm going to do that. I'm committing to that. And then I think it is, sure, taking action steps every day. So for the mindset stuff, yes, I signed up for 2.0. Now I get it. I didn't have to pay you for that. That's...
Well.
But taking hold of something as a tool, I think, is the main thing in both of those areas. So for an affiliate, maybe the tool is you have to learn about a new thing.
So what about somebody who's listening? Because I don't know how many affiliate owners listen to this.
Yeah, okay.
So people that are just...
the average person.
Average person.
Yeah, I think it looks a lot like some of the stuff we've talked about. What are the action things you're going to do every day to commit to that process of learning about yourself?
Yeah.
And there's 1 million of them, and we've been through them. This is a plug, this is a whatever. I find personally, it's hard to do that alone, without support, without guidance. That is why there's a coaching role. That's the same reason why people are showing up to classes, because doing it on their own in their basement, not the same. So finding a tool, whether that's Between the Ears, or sure, maybe it is a book, or I don't know. I have not found other tools, to be honest, other than Between the Ears, that have really impacted my growth as a human. But yes, find something.
But there is one, and I just put a post up about it today. And so when you listen to this, it'll be yesterday's. Open up a journal.
Yeah.
And start writing.
Right.
And that's what I love about it. It's free.
Yeah.
It's not contingent upon technology.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a giant mirror. And that is the thing that all of this work does.
Sure.
It's a mirror. It's a light source. It's an azimuth within yourself. And so I agree with you and being like, first you have to say, I'm going to do it. Well, awareness is where it starts. Mm-hmm. Awareness is the whole like that is the soil, or that is the
right.
foundation.
So step one is like, taking a little inventory, and I think we can all do that. And maybe that's something, I think I would like to do today, is just doing a little inventory on like, how am I being? And I had to unsubscribe to that thing today, taking a look at some of the things I'm doing.
Yeah. Well,
okay, what am I engaging in that's helping and serving, and what is just pure hurting?
Sure.
And following that page and feeling all those whatever, that's not doing anything positive for me, for anybody else. So, okay. But without stopping and seeing it,
bingo,
is like, then it's just rolling into the next day.
Well, and I think that the thing is that the pause, we talk about the pause all the time. All the time, whatever. We talk about the pause. The pause is super valuable. The pause is like, what I love about the pause is that I think a lot of times people view a pause and they think about like stopping something and, it's this temporary thing. A pause is an active expression of the present in its truest form. And that to me is so fucking cool. Like by pausing, you're actually giving life to the present, which we would say, oh, that's filled with action. Yes, because there is action in the pause. So having the pause opens up the present and then allows you to have the awareness.
Right.
By taking inventory. What do we mean by that? Okay, real quick. Simple models. Physical, mental, emotional. What am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I feeling?
Right.
Okay, that's what? Next one. How am I behaving?
Right.
How am I thinking? How am I feeling? How is that impacting others?
Right. Well, that's the big one.
Looking at it.
Yeah.
And
for a lot of people, we've said this, we've been used to being in each other's space. I do want to acknowledge, I think for a lot of people, that alone can be challenging. Navigating my space, your space, we're together all day. Like, we've had that experience. So I think for family dynamics, for partnerships, for relationships, this could be, if you're not doing that work and taking that inventory, on top of now whatever that normal stress is, now you're adding relationship stress, which is huge.
Right.
That aggravation, that irritability, the fighting, then how are your kids perceiving that?
Well, and you need the releases too.
Yeah.
Like you need the releases. Some people, it's the gym. Got it. That's great. Some people that go to an office or have work or have friends or whatever, that has been, your release valve has been blocked.
Right.
The coffee dates, the water cooler, the seeing the colleague, whatever it might be.
Your
that
commute.
interaction, your commute. Yeah, big one, right? Yeah. Like your commute for sure. Now, what is being, not only is that release valve being blocked, but that buildup is adding to the overall pressure, which is already very, very high. Right. The fucking journal is your release valve.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you had a couple of rough days, or like a rough day on Monday, I think it was. And and that awareness is saying like, okay, like self-care, like what am I missing? And like, you've been back to like the journaling, and nobody's perfect, but like the practice of that awareness, I think can help make it something that instead of it being a week or cascading into this week-long sort of problem, you get a day and you're able to kind of get back on track. So the practice of awareness too makes it a little bit easier. It's not to say you're not going to have a bad day or slip up or take a day, whatever, but that's, it does get easier. And, for me, I've been like, I think it's healthy for me to move in the morning. We've said that. Yeah. So now when I coach the 7, I don't even leave the garage. Yeah. I go right into doing my thing, and then I coach the 9. Right. And like, or if you're a commuter, maybe you get up a little early, you do your instead of commuting, you go for a walk. If you usually listen to a podcast on your commute, put your earphones in, go do a walk to, start thinking long term in that same way of like, what are some things I can put into action? When can I, instead of commuting, maybe that's journaling time, maybe it's family journaling, whatever it is, but thinking ahead is the point that we were trying to make today about long term. Okay, if this is 3 months, how can I put in place things to be a positive to help me?
And that's the thing. You cannot be a passenger to this.
Yeah. And get in the front seat and take the steering wheel. Get out of the back seat.
Right. While also realizing the road, like, you can be a driver in not that much. Mm-hmm. You can't control when this thing ends.
Right.
You can't control any of that. So, like, you don't have much control right now. Mm-hmm. Throwing your hands up in the air or putting your head in the sand is just continuing to be a passenger when you don't have to be.
Right.
You're already a passenger, honestly, in so much. Right. And that's kind of the thing. Like, that's why it's like, it fires us up.
You might not be able to control the road or the where it's going, but you can, like, hold the steering wheel and decide how fast or slow you're going, and there's other things you can control.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully we didn't piss too many people off, but if we did,
I think I don't care.
You're not listening anyway, probably. All right, so what do we got? We have, obviously, the practice, obviously, the gym. If you are from a different area and you do want, if your gym is closed or you're looking to get in on what we're talking about, send us a message. People are joining that are not locals and aren't. And once this thing ends, we'll say, awesome, see you later. Mm-hmm. What else is there?
You can try a class too.
Yeah, you can try a class, do all that. But
yeah.
So that's what we got going on. I think I'm gonna figure out how to do an online seminar.
Yeah.
There's some demand for it, and it's been an idea that, again, like, pushing you to do things that you otherwise wouldn't do. So
I think for the, what would be helpful too is hearing what, as it relates to this stuff or your current space, what is helpful. Like, now we have sort of a direction, and so as it relates to the podcast, whereas before it might have been like not something people were thinking of, if there is something we can address or talk about or work through in the coming podcasts, then happy to do so. So
you're saying, like, asking for topics of discussion?
Things people are showing up, they're okay, now I'm doing this, but what about that? So anyway,
I'm always open to having a dialogue and an interaction. So
all right,
either way, do something, let us know what you do.
And it's getting released on my birthday.
Happy birthday, K-Animal.
Well, it's not today, but it's
tomorrow. I'm telling you today, tomorrow.
Okay, goodbye.
Which is today.